Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Today we're going to take a look at a full custom Cobra 3.5 by TJ Fischer. This is actually kind of exciting for me because I haven't gotten a chance to show anybody on my channel TJ's work in the past. This is the very first time I've had a chance to even handle one of his folders. I've known him now for, I don't know, probably 8 or so years. And I've seen the fixed blades that he's done, but since I moved away from Florida, where he lives, I now live in Texas. Once he started getting really into making folders, I haven't had the chance to sample any. So we're kind of seeing this together for the first time. And I gotta tell you, I really dig this knife for a lot of reasons, and we'll break those reasons down here in a moment. But I just kind of want to give you a moment to just kind of soak it in for a second and take a look at it. What we're looking at, an overall length is about 8 inches with a, of course, 3.5-inch blade, which is why it's called, focus, the Cobra 3.5. This one happens to be in CPM 154. Titanium frames, front and back, all done with a black Cerakote. Nice clean black look. As you take a look at this knife all the way around, you just see all that slick, cool blackness, and then you see the speed holes that reveal the belt satin finish of the blade that gives you a kind of a two-tone look to the knife when it's closed. And then, of course, when you open it, everything goes back to black. And then your only two-tone that remains is on the blade. This is a ridiculously thin hollow grind to the point where it's almost scary. Scary for one, you know, every now and then you'll get that knife in your collection, or you'll sample a knife, you'll pick up a knife, and you'll feel that edge and go, man, that's scary sharp. Like, I want to make sure my finger is nowhere near that thing when it closes. And this absolutely fits that bill. But scary also from a knife making standpoint, when you look at a hollow grind, if you're going to hollow grind both sides, there's a point where if you're going too high with the wrong diameter of wheel, you're taking off too much material, you can actually blow through the middle because it's going to get so precariously thin. And I think this knife is as thin of a hollow grind as you could possibly get without having that blow through. Now, for those that are unfamiliar with TJ, it's actually Todd Fischer Jr. So for those of you that have been on my channel for a long time, you know my love for Todd Fischer's work. This is Todd Fischer's son. But the thing is, while he may be Todd's son, there is nothing here when you look at this knife that screams, you know, I'm following in my father's footsteps, I'm doing what he's doing, and I'm trying to strike out on my own. This is a knife that is 100% completely unique to TJ. This is a very unique design. It doesn't follow along the same lines as what his father's done, what his brother's done. Everything is quite different. Now, when you go back, TJ started doing fixed blades, was doing some really cool fixed blades, and then he took some time off to be a regular working dude, and then he decided to start making knives with his brother. So they opened up a shop together, and I think a lot of the fine-tuning and honing of his skills came during that period over the course of about 5 years there. And now what we're seeing is a really superbly made custom knife. And the reason why I'm harping on the fact that this is custom, number one, because there's so many blade markings on here, you might think it's a production knife. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that personally. I'd rather just see a maker's mark, and that's it. I don't need to see made in USA and the model name and all that stuff. But you know, that's the knife maker's preference, and they're gonna mark their blades how they choose. To me, that kind of makes it look almost like a production knife. And the other part is, when you hear the price, you might be thinking, well, am I really going to get a full custom knife for under $1,000? And the answer is yes. That's one of the selling points, really, for the Cobra, is the fact that you're getting into a full custom knife, just like you would with the Launch or any of the knives that he makes. You're getting into a full custom for what is not typically a custom knife price these days. You know, if you go back 5, 6, 7 years, you know, you were generally starting at around $800 for a good full custom folder. Well, times have changed a little bit, and those prices have creeped up a little bit over these past few years. And the fact that so many mid-techs and so many really high-end production knives from many different companies have come in and muddied the waters, it makes it a little bit more challenging now to figure out what you actually want for the money that you're going to spend. It's always the best bet to buy a custom knife. Number one, you know that you're getting something that was put together with the greatest of care, done so by hand. You know the heat treat is going to be done properly because a custom knife maker is heat treating you know, a small batch of knives or one knife at a time, and each one is being hand ground by them very, very, very cautiously in order to not blow through the temper from the heat treat. And just the way that certain things are going to be done. Look at this beautiful pivot. That is a completely unique pivot. Very well done. The jimping is very sharp, very well done on there. And the fact that you get to dictate what it is that you want. If you called up TJ tomorrow and said, okay, hey man, I saw that Cobra 3.5, I super dig it, I really want one, but can you edge cut each of the holes where it's like a bowl cut and then do like a polished or a satin finish on there for a contrast? Or will you go around the outer edges of the frame in satin to give it a two-tone look? Or will you do the whole thing in mokutai? Or will you do the whole thing in Damasteel with a mokutai bolster and a Damasteel blade? You are able to dictate those things within reason, of course. And everything that you choose to do is going to obviously affect your price. So you have that creative freedom. Now, what I generally tend to do with a knife maker is go, hey, you know, these are the things that I love about this design, or maybe I have a color palette in mind, but other than that, maker's choice, do whatever you want to do, make it however you want to make it from whatever materials you want, and you're generally going to get a much better knife than you have envisioned in your own head, because the knife maker is going to have his own artistic creativity in there. He also knows what works best with the particular knife that he's making and all these variables that go into it. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a better knife by saying, hey, maker's choice. But with this, and this is not a basic version, but one of the more base versions that puts you at around $1,000. His prices start at $950 for the Cobra. And this one's probably going to cost you a little bit more because of the cost of the Cerakote. This is a very high belt satin. If I were to guess, let me take a quick look here. I'd probably say it's probably about 1,200 grit, maybe 1,500 grit belt satin. To get a nice, clean, uniform finish like this is not the easiest to do off of your belt grinder. There you can see reflections of my studio lights. See if I can get a reflection of me and the t-shirt that I'm wearing. Very, very nicely done. Very clean. And very crisp, because what you got to realize is this entire blade was Cerakoted. And then to go back and then regrind that to get this two-tone look without disturbing any of the black finish, without tearing it up, without a random ass large grit making its way in there and screwing up the flats. It's a little bit butt puckering as a knife maker to do that kind of stuff. But he takes those chances, he takes those risks, and I think it comes out very, very well. Is this a revolutionary type of knife? No, it's not. He does some really wild, crazy custom stuff. This one, honestly, is the type of knife that you're going to carry on a daily basis, and you're able to say, in my pocket today is a full custom knife. Fairly expensive, but not crazy expensive, but you're able to daily carry a custom knife. It's got a good degree of heft to it. The action is fantastic. The jimping on that flipper tab is just perfect. It literally grabs your finger. You want to be careful where you're holding it so you're not applying extra pressure to the lock bar, making the detent even harder to overcome, but the action is just awesome. Great, great flipper. It feels just fantastic. Nice and smooth. Nice clean work all the way around. This one has standoffs. And again, you could say, hey man, I really dig that knife, but man, I wish I had like a 3/4 backspacer, a 1/4 backspacer, or a full backspacer. And boom, it'll get done for you. That's the beauty of buying custom knives. Get a quick shot of the lockup here. Now this knife is actually not mine. This was sent to me from TJ on its way to a dealer, and I'm going to give you the information down in the description below where you can click right on it, go right to the dealer's website. Now since I have it here and he doesn't have it there, I can't directly link you to this knife because, well, it's not there yet. But I can link you to the website. You can search for Fischer and you'll find it. It's very clearly not going to last long. Anything that he makes sells extraordinarily quickly. I just want to get a chance to show you guys, after a long time of wanting to do this, getting a chance to show you some of Todd's work. Oh, that detent! Did you hear that? Hold on, let's go right back to that. Let me just shut up for a second. Listen. Woo! That gets at least one of my nipples hard. I also like the accordion style tension relief on the lock bar. Really like how that looks. You know, a lot of guys will put their lock bar relief cut on the inside or the outside, depending on what they want to do. And when it's on the outside, it can tend to look, I don't know, just rather utilitarian. Oh, there's a big notch cut out of this side of the knife. So instead of doing that, he did the accordion style cut. Obviously just as effective. It's got great tension on the lock bar. It's just perfect for the detent without being overbearing, but it looks great. You'll notice that the clip is blind screwed, so there's no exposed hardware for the clip. That is actually screwed in from the inside. I would have loved to have not have seen any holes for the hardware on the presentation side, but again, that's the kind of thing. If you wanted him to do a hidden hardware backspacer, he can certainly do that. That's going to be your stop pin right in there. Anyway, what was I saying before I got off on that whole detent thing? The quality of work is fantastic. He's a great guy to deal with. This particular model feels nice in the hand. It's a good full-sized handle with a 3.5-inch blade that honestly looks bigger than it is because of the height and the thickness. It's 187 thousandths thick, so it's a very, very, very chunky blade that he brings down to, I mean, as close to a razor's edge as you can get in a practical folding knife. I love the shape of the handle. I like the fact that the speed holes that he's cut in there really accentuate the shape of the handle very, very well. He could have done a random pattern, or they could have all been the same size or offset or some weird shit. But I like the fact that he really went and it enhances the overall shape of the handle. Looks fantastic. Really looks good when it's closed, because then you get to see the blade through the handle. So overall, do I think it's worth it for right around $1,000? Absolutely. If it was some crazy astronomical $1,500 plus, because he was, you know, just falling back on his name and going, anything that I touch is worth at least this much, I don't think I'd feel quite the same about it. But the fact that, yeah, he'll make you a $3,000 knife, but he can very easily also offer you a $1,000 knife or a $950 knife. And I really like that flexibility within his range. So what I would tell you to do is this: if you like this particular version, this cool tactical blackout version, go to the link down below. And you know what? I think I have... No, I don't. I used to have one of their cleaning cloths sitting right here next to me. I do. So I'll even throw that in there right there. Boom. Carolina Custom Knives and Gear. That's where this is going to be available at. So you can go check that out. Again, the link will be down in the description below. And I'm going to get out of here for now. Keep your eyes open. I'm going to try to do a few more videos over the next few months. Having just some some downtime. We'll say that, some downtime in the shop where I'm not able to work as often as I'd like to. And this is obviously a lot less strenuous than working out in my shop. So maybe I'll get a chance to throw some more videos at you coming soon. So keep your eyes open for that. And follow Todd on Instagram. I'll put his Instagram down below in the description as well. Follow him, see what kind of cool, neat shit he's doing. I think he's a great dude on a personal level, and I think he's a really talented knife maker on a professional level. And when you combine those two things, it really makes that buying experience all the more enjoyable. So there you go. That's my take on it, and I'll see you guys on the next video.